bell chimes and everyone they would start to rhyme.
7:33 in Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Game of Words is the theme of Jackie Hinson's second Carnival Street Showcase, which was unveiled on the 20th of February, which was last Sunday, at Fisher Avenue in St. Anne's. The expanded display of Carnival-inspired depictions will remain mounted along both sides of the residential street through to Friday, the 4th of March. So it's an ongoing exhibition. Last year, when official Carnival celebrations were cancelled because of the COVID-19 situation, Hinson's murals ranging from 55 to over 100 feet met the moment for a wholly local yet diverse audience rallied by the unifying force of an unrivaled Carnival tabanca. Well, indeed, many people still have that Carnival tabanca, even with the taste of Carnival. But once again, members of the public are invited to walk or drive by from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. With the reminder that all COVID-19 protocols will be in full effect. And after that long introduction, I can now speak to Jackie Hinson, and I call him Jackie with a little shame in my face, because it's because of me that we lost a double wicket tournament at Queen's Park in 1985. He was the so-called non-cricketer. I was the so-called professional cricketer, and he was the one bailing us out every time. We got to the final, I get out first ball, and he tried his best after that. Jackie, I do apologize still for that insult to you. So what, some 37 years ago now? But at least you have the good grace to want to talk to me this morning. Good morning to you.
Morning.
Good to have you with us this morning. Tell us about the exhibition that's on right now.
Well, what happened, Fazeer, is that I have these large mural-sized works that I've been doing for some years now. And there's hardly any opportunity I have to display them. And given the COVID situation and the season of Carnival, since most of the images in the murals are Carnival related, then this was an opportunity to display them, you know, in my street where I can do some supervising and be in a bit of control of things.
How much control have you been able to exercise? Because, I mean, you have it out there in the streets and people can view from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. As we mentioned, it started on Sunday. Has it been a challenge? Have people been respectful and you know, following all of the protocols and so on so far?
Oh, yeah. Just like last year. Absolutely no problem. And to be honest, if there were a problem, if someone were to do some damage, it wouldn't shock me or surprise me. You get individuals like this for whatever reason that do it. So I'm prepared for that mentally.
And from your own perspective, what does an exhibition like this do for you as an artist? Because, I mean, you perform across many different platforms, although I'm still hooked on your watercolors. I like the old-fashioned watercolor things.
Yeah.
But
well,
what does this sort of exhibition do for you?
An artist has to continue, living, responding to his environment, physical, social, political, everything, and putting visually and symbolically on canvas or paper or whatever, his or her emotional and intellectual response to those experiences. Okay, so I paint watercolors, but when an idea comes up, where the subject is a big subject or monumental subject, like they are here, where you're trying to express something that reflects a whole society, and even the world for that matter, then you have to think in a bigger way, in a more monumental way, physically and, you know, emotionally and visually. So that's the reason why I went to this large size to try and depict, as I say, my responses to the world, my vision of the society and the world.
And these murals, were they done within fairly recent times, or are they a collection over a number of years?
Well, there are about 4 of them. One was done about 10 years ago, which, as I say, they all heavily use Carnival imagery. That first one from 10 years ago was more in a celebratory and historical mood. It kind of captured early history of Trinidad and Trinidad Carnival. But as I got towards the second half of that first mural, the emphasis shifted slowly towards more and more social observation. I began to refer to things about the political scene, what people were saying, thinking, writing in the media, on social media. And by the time I got to the other 2 or 3 murals, years later, in the past 3 years for that, as a matter of fact, that emphasis on social observation strengthened, intensified.
And if I could ask you, Jackie, I mean, apart from the murals that you have on display outside, what about the one you have behind you there? If you don't mind, give me a little explanation as to what is that about.
That is consistent in a way with what I have outside on the road. This, I think, is a big charcoal drawing I did 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I think it was during an election year or something, in which, once again, I explored carnival imagery to express, social observation. So you might find, I can't see it easily, you might find somebody looking like a political personage or party dressed as a robber or a devil or something like that. And I have all these characters interacting. So they're kind of subtle messages about how we in our society and beyond, how we interact.
Could I ask you, Jackie, and I mean, you're probably tired answering this question over and over all these many years. Why do you do this? For what reason? Why do you do this?
No, not this. You're not talking about this particular set of work,
not this particular. But I mean, reflecting the mood of the nation or your own thoughts and visions and so on. Why?
Well, it's, when people ask me that kind of question, they ask me, why did you choose art? I say, I didn't choose art. Art chose me. As a primary school child, when I was drawing, like so many others in my class, little cowboys from the comic book and things like that, by age 12, 13, when 99% of children stopped doing that, they have satisfied some need there, I continued and felt the need and urge to continue. But I cannot explain it. So that's why I say art chose me. I didn't choose it.
So Jackie,
and I have to continue.
Sure. And before time runs out on us, it goes until the March the 4th. And from what I understand, you will be on location in the evening from 4 to 6 p.m. to be able to interact, of course, maintaining all of the protocols if people want to ask your perspective and questions and so on.
Yes, I make sure I do that. But the truth is, because I live just outside, next to the work, if I see anyone in the road, I see people and I'm available and free, I go out and chat. So I have to maintain that conversational relationship with the public.
And just on that, your long involvement as an artist and so on. Do you see that actually influencing whether, I don't know whether positive or negative, but do you see art and the way you represent it actually influencing or are you reflecting who we are? How do you see it?
Well, the two questions are not mutually, don't mutually exclude each other. I don't think too much about what the function of my art is. I only have to take a cursory look at the history of man, from early prehistoric caveman art to current day, to know that art plays an incredibly important role in man's life, in all peoples and throughout the history of man. It plays a huge role. I don't have to understand exactly how that role is, how to explain it, but it's there to be seen.
I hear you on that, Jackie Hinkson. So again, the exhibition is there at his home on Fisher Avenue in St. Anne's. Started last weekend, continues until March the 4th. Anything finally that you wanted to add, Jackie, before we wrap up this morning?
No, just to say that while a lot of the imagery in the work, because a lot of it refers to events that have been happening over the last couple of years in our society. So while a lot of the imagery refers in a recognizable way to these events, as an artist, my focus when executing these works is in the manipulation of the formal visual elements. How do I make this color right? do I get this drawing correct? What color do I juxtapose next to this one? How do I keep a rhythm of shapes? How do I control the movement of the viewer's eye from one figure to another and so on? So people don't see that aspect of the work. They just see the surface imagery. So I want to emphasize that.
I hear you on that, Jackie Hinkson. Well, it's taken me 37 years to apologize, so let me apologize to you again for being such an incompetent so-called senior partner in that double wicket tournament. Thanks very much once again for taking the time.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Fazeer.
Jackie Hinkson there with us. Yeah, and it was because of him that we actually reached the final of that double wicket tournament for Queen's Park Cricket Club members way back in 1985, and I let him down every possible opportunity, but at least he had the good grace to still talk to me this morning. 7:43 in Trinidad and Tobago. Here's an early morning image captured at the Costat car park in Chaguanas, and it's a very nice image indeed, with the sun just about coming up as we go to the break.
Jump, you jump, dance, your dance is bacchanal. Play mass Monday morning carnival. Jouer, barrio, leve la mela, say